So I just watched the King of the Hill revival, aka King of the Hill season 14, created by Greg Daniels, Mike Judge, and Saladin K. Patterson. So for backstory, I love the original King of the Hill. It is a really great show. I actually didn't watch it until about 3 or 4 years ago, and I've really enjoyed it since I first watched it. I will admit it goes a bit downhill once the seasons hit double digits. Like it's not bad, it's just definitely nowhere near the quality it was in its peak. But still, despite that, I was interested in seeing a revival. I wanted to see what they would do. And I was really excited to see characters have actually been aged up. Like, you see so many shows come back, and it's just like, oh yeah, we're picking up right where we left off. But this one acknowledges time has passed, and I really like when shows or like long awaited sequels do that, which is cool. So now that I've watched it, I can say this is a great season. I really liked it. It feels like a perfect continuation of the original show. Hank in particular transitions perfectly to modern day. And like what they do with him, it gives me exactly what I would want with like the concept of bringing Hank into like the modern day. Bobby's also done really well, and I feel like the way they portray him here is like exactly how I always envisioned and felt Bobby would be, and I really liked that. Bobby and Connie, I thought had good chemistry. Like there were a few times while I was watching that I was afraid they might turn it into some soap opera BS, but they never really did that. It was always kept like very in line with how King of the Hill works. In terms of characters, I didn't really like in this. Peggy suffers from like the same problem of like ego and self importance that she got in some of the later seasons, and I guess it was kind of there in some of the earlier seasons, but not this bad. I didn't like. She was still funny at points, but it definitely got It definitely was a bit much at times. And I'm sorry, but I do not like Toby Huss as Dale Gribble in this. Like throughout the entire, I'm aware that Johnny Hardwick did do some of the voices, did voice Dale in some of the episodes, but throughout the whole season, it just never sounded like Dale. It just always sounded like someone doing an impression, and I could never really get past that whenever he was on screen, which is kind of sad. In terms of the new characters, people like Emilio and GH, they feel like such natural additions to the show. Like they fit in really well. And I get that GH was kind of in the original, but not in this way. Like he was barely a character. He could barely be considered a character in the original. I kept like there are some funny facts regarding some of the voice actors in this before I get move on from the characters. Greta Lyle was in this a lot. Like she voiced a ton of characters. And it was never distracting, but it was always just kind of funny watching this and being like, oh, hey, Greta Lyle again. They really like using her. And Chase Wasana Song's new voice actor. Once I found this out, I had a good laugh about it. He's the guy from Wish Upon who dug on multiverses. And if you've seen Wish Upon, which is a really funny bad movie, it's just really funny once you know that he's in this. In terms of the humor, the show was overall funny. I was consistently laughing throughout. Like even if not every individual joke works, it was still really funny overall. There were some modern references, particularly in episode 1, that I thought were a bit cringy. Like Hank at one point says that if he goes into a woman's bathroom, he'll get canceled, and I was like, okay, that's like something more Peggy would bring up, not Hank. But like then in episode 1, thinking about some of my favorite parts, there were moments like Dale being elected mayor for 36 hours and Hank's whole scene with the Girl Scouts. Like those felt like quintessential King of the Hill moments. Like that first episode really showed me that they still know these characters and they still know how to make this show work. There were some confusing story elements like I've watched through the whole season. I still don't understand why Hank and Peggy moved to Saudi Arabia. Like I know why, because Hank got that contracting job, but I don't really buy Hank being the type to be like, "Oh, I got a new job. It's in Saudi Arabia. Okay, let's go to Saudi Arabia." Like Hank isn't the type to leave America no matter how like good the job he would get is. Like I kind of did not buy that, but it didn't take me out of it too much. Now just I guess let's just talk about some of my favorite episodes or favorite moments. Episode 3 was definitely one of my favorites in this season. Like it really felt like the proper way to address modern politics while telling a good like human story. Like that's what King of the Hill always really excelled at, balancing politics and humanity. Episode 8 had a lot of good emotional moments, and definitely one of the best was the little talk with Peggy and Connie in the bathroom. I thought that was really nice. Episode 9, I thought, did a great job sort of breaking down toxic masculinity. And, like, one of my issues with the original show is that it feels like Hank had to learn his lesson regarding that Cotton not actually being a good person, like, so many times. Like, it felt like every episode of Cotton was just Hank learning again and again. Oh, you mean Cotton's not a good person? I didn't know that. Like, yes, you did. You knew that. But this feels like them finally saying goodbye to Cotton, and I hope we don't have to learn Cotton was bad again at some point because that'll undo that episode, I think. And episode 10, I thought like was a good finale, and it was just a real, and I really liked the sweet side story with Bobby and Connie. Again, I just really liked how they were done this season. Overall, this was a really good continuation of King of the Hill. I think every fan of King of the Hill should definitely check it out. It's not a good starting point. So, like, if you haven't seen King of the Hill, do not just start watching it because you will definitely be lost. Like, you definitely, at the very least, need to understand not just the main characters and like their personalities, but also like most of the side characters. And you kind of need to just watch through the original show to get it. And right now, I cannot wait for season 15. Like, I really want to know what else they're going to do. And I'm going to give King of the Hill Revival slash season 14 an A minus. And I will admit, like, it seems like, at least from the ending to me, it seems like they were kind of hoping to have John Redcorn do more things in the next season. So, considering the tragic passing of Jonathan Ross, I am kind of wondering what they're going to do with John Redcorn now. So those are my thoughts on the King of the Hill revival. If you've seen it, be sure to let me know what you thought down in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe to see more reviews like this in the future. And on that note, I will see you next time. Have a great day.